Okay, let's talk about something we all do every single day, or most of us do it walking. It seems simple, but have you really thought about it? About what it means to just walk freely down the street? Because it sounds simple, but this could be a very, very powerful statement about freedom, justice, and even our very place in the world. And that leads us to this big question: when is a walk not just a walk? When does putting one foot in front of the other transform into something bigger, something more meaningful? We're going to dig into the hidden meanings behind our steps, and we're going to see how simple act of walking can become a powerful form of defiance, or a way of celebrating our community, or even a testament to a shared humanity. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the walk, or why a walk is never just a walk. Then we'll get into the rules of movement, the hidden ones. We'll look at Aristotle's idea on being a political human, and then MLK's concept of walking as protest. And we'll even see how all this plays out in a real place, Guam. And finally, bring it all back to how you can use this philosophy in your daily life. So let's dive right in. A walk is never just a walk. You know that feeling when you're somewhere and you just don't feel like you belong, like a school cafeteria? Or maybe you feel like people are watching you, judging you just for being there, just like a school cafeteria? Yeah, that feeling is exactly what we're talking about. The freedom to just move through public spaces, like parks, streets, it's not always guaranteed for everyone. It's so often shaped by these unwritten rules, these hidden biases. What if we could reclaim those spaces one step at a time? The main tool we're going to use to understand all of this is something called philosophy. And don't worry, it's not as complicated as it sounds. It's really just about taking these big, sometimes abstract philosophical ideas and using them to look at our actual everyday lives. It's all about learning to question the systems around us instead of just saying, well, that's just the way things are. Let's talk about the hidden forces. What if I told you that every single time you step out of your front door, you're entering this complex web of rules and power dynamics? It seems invisible. It sounds kind of like a movie, too. And using philosophical lens, we can start to see these hidden forces and really get how they shape our lives. And we can break this into three key ideas. First up is power. You gotta ask who gets to decide where people can and can't go. Who's making the rules, both the official ones and the unofficial ones? Next, there's freedom. And we're not just talking about what the law says, we're talking about the actual experience of being able to move around without fear of being hassled. And finally, that brings us up to resistance. How can these small, quiet, everyday things we do actually change unjust rules and help us reclaim our right to just be? Now, to really get into this, we're going to look at two heavyweights, Aristotle and Martin Luther King Jr. They come at this from completely different angles. For one, walking was all about building a community. For the other, it was a powerful tool, a weapon even, against oppression. So, how can these two different views help us understand the power packed into a single step? Let's find out. For Let's rewind back to Aristotle. We're gonna throw it back. For him, being human isn't a passive thing. It wasn't just about breathing and eating. It was all about participating. He believed that we truly become ourselves when we're out there, connecting with other people in public spaces. Don't you feel more alive though when you're actually part of a bustling, vibrant community? And that's why this is so huge and important for Aristotle. If you deny someone the freedom to just walk around in a public space, you're not just inconveniencing them. No, it's deeper than that. You're actually committing a profound injustice. You're striking the very core of what makes them human and taking away their chance to live a full, meaningful life. Okay, now let's jump forward a couple thousand years to the 20th century. Here we see Martin Luther King Jr. Take this Aristotelian idea I just told you about of public participation, and he turns it into something absolutely revolutionary. Picture this. For 381 days straight, thousands of black men, women, and children in Montgomery, Alabama chose to walk. They walked to work, they walked to school, they walked to church. Their tired feet became this powerful testament to their unshakable demand for justice. You see, what King showed the world is that resistance doesn't always have to be loud. It doesn't have to be violent. Sometimes it can be simple and as incredibly impactful as just putting one foot in front of the other. Every single step those Montgomery walkers took was a quiet but powerful act of defiance. It was visible symbol of their dignity, a dignity that couldn't be taken away, and their relentless hope for a better world. So okay, we've got we got philosophy from Aristotle, The history from MLK, what does this all look like today in the real world? Well, to see it in action, let's take a look at a really fascinating study of Guam. Just to try to imagine this for a second, you live on this gorgeous island, but huge chunks of it are completely off limits to you. Well, that's the reality for a lot of people in Guam because of its colonial history. All the land used by military and the way tourism has developed, you end up with this really complex patchwork of public and private spaces. All these abstract ideas we were just talking about, power, freedom, they're not abstract here. They're part of daily life. So let's bring this all home. By weaving together Aristotle's wisdom and MLK's courage, we've basically created a new lens to see the world through. And now the really cool part is turning that lens in our own lives and discovering the hidden meaning in our own movements. At the end of the day, here's the biggest takeaway. Freedom isn't just something written down in a law book or granted by a government. It's something we have to live for. It's something we practice. And yeah, sometimes it's something we have to fight for. Even though simple everyday actions that walk you can take by be your way of participating in your community. It can be your way of resisting injustice. And it's always a way to affirm your own dignity. So I want to leave you with this. The next time you go for a walk, whether it's to the store or just around the block, I want you to try and pay attention and really notice things. Notice the invisible boundaries, the unspoken rules, all those subtle power dynamics going on. And ask yourself, what is story is my walk telling?